everybody. I'll be speaking for 10-15 minutes, and then another 10 minutes we will make it an interaction session where we can interact with each other and like clarify any doubts you have. And with each doubt of yours, I will build up the concept and give you a idea about how to go about with these exams and all. Okay. After I clear my exams, till now I've been like speaking to gatherings of aspirants like this for a couple of times. So every time I try to think that what I told the last time was the right recipe or not. Okay. And today I was like speaking to some of the aspirants who I know, and I was trying to tell them there are around 300 to 400 people sitting here trying to know what that secret recipe is. There is something which you are going to cook, and it's supposed to be a soup or something, and there is some secret recipe which everybody wants to know. So you would want to know that, okay, take this ingredient and fry it for this minute, add this, and finally there is a product called the civil service list where your name has been seen there. That's the problem. The person who says there is a secret recipe himself is nobody I can say that can say there is a particular recipe for success. Okay. So where did I get this idea that there is no separate recipe or successes? If you have watched this movie Kung Fu Panda, you watched that movie, right? It's one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite movies for all time. So not the second and the third part, the first part where this is a fat panda who couldn't even climb stairs. Now it's supposed to be the dragon warrior, right? So exactly. Now like put yourself in that situation. Maybe you're not a topper in your high schools, or maybe you have not graduated from the greatest institutions, but then you want to be the dragon warrior. In this case, the civil service. I think you're getting the analogy which I'm speaking about. So hook or crook, he is already nominated as a dragon warrior in the beginning. He's been said that. Now in your case, wo to last mein aayega when the list comes. So you are supposed to be the dragon warrior, and then there is Master Shifu. Okay. And now in this case it's another way around where the panda is not sure whether he can be a dragon warrior, and the Master Shifu is very sure. In that thing there is a small difference then. Now the movie goes on. I'm not going to dictate the movie to you. You know how the movie goes on. There is no clarity about how to teach this panda. Okay. And like the first day of classes, it has been thrown into that lot of the fireballs coming around, the swing and all those things. The panda is devastated. Okay. And then goes on. Finally, like there is a way to teach. The Master Shifu finds a way to teach. It is not the traditional way of teaching, right? But finally in the movie, somewhere down the line, Panda realizes when he gets the scroll, there's nothing written there. So what the point I'm trying to tell you guys is that there is no secret ingredient for success. If somebody says that I will tell you the secret for success, there is no secret for success. It's as simple as the basics itself. The basic is nothing but you have to study, you have to concentrate, and you write. There is no secret for success. There is no secret recipe. All you have to do is the normal things which everybody does. If somebody says there is another way to do things, no, there is only way. That's hard work. There is only way, that is to have confidence in yourself and go for whatever you are supposed to achieve. So what I want you guys to take home is, if you're looking for somebody to come and give you a talk where they say that this is the way, that do not tell anybody, keep it to yourself. There are 400 people here, 1000 ranks, this is a secret, write it down, do not tell anybody, and you will be there in the list. That's a false. That will be a brilliant lie, which you will be, you will be in an illusion that you know the recipe. To make a normal soup, It's the same water, salt, and whatever the ingredients are, that's all. There is no secret. Even KFC might say that there is a secret recipe. No, it is normal masalas put in a combination and served. There are other people who can actually do better than that. Okay, so my advice to you is do not start searching for the secret recipe anywhere. It might be internet, or it might be like, some people who have cleared some guides on it. Do not search for that secret recipe. There is no secret recipe. All you have to do is the basic, the textbooks, whatever the way you are supposed to study, and do that. The problem is, why did Kung Fu Panda become the dragon warrior and not any other animal, is because the normal basic things are not being done by others. When I say there is no secret recipe, it doesn't mean there is no recipe. You have to understand that concept. You should be with me in this idea. When I say there is no secret recipe, I am not saying that there is no recipe. There is a recipe, but it is not a secret. Everybody knows the recipe. You're getting what I'm trying to say? Everybody knows the recipe. There is no secret recipe, but the problem is nobody gets into the kitchen to cook with that recipe. The recipe is there in the book. And this recipe is as old as your grandmother. Like from the day of UPSC days, when UPSC thought of recruiting some during the British time, the recipe was the same. Even now it is the same. It will be the same. Maybe the syllabus might change. Mean to say, maybe whatever dish they want out of it might be different, but there is a recipe. The problem is you do not get into the kitchen. Okay. And some people do get into the kitchen. Now let me say that 400 people are here. I think you have got into the kitchen. Okay, you all want to get into this exam, you want to study for this exam and like give this exam and clear it. You have started, let us say you would have bought the basic books and you have got enrolled in a coaching center or something. Mean to say you have lit the, the stove. You have lit the stove. Maybe some people have kept the dish. By now, half of the people have walked out because it doesn't look as interesting as it sounds to be. Okay. Some people even put the oil maybe little forward. In between somebody burns his hand. Then you're like, okay, this is not mine. You walk out. Okay. Then there are some people who go ahead and in between they feel that this recipe is stupid. Somewhere in internet they said there is some more recipe. Then you open the YouTube, you keep there, you have a recipe, you have another YouTube here, you have your grandmother's recipe, you have your sister's recipe. There are 10-15 recipes. Little do you know that one recipe is for gulab jamun, another one is for biryani. You mix both and you get a dirty thing. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you were given one recipe, you were supposed to walk into the kitchen, do only so much, finish it and walk out. No, in between you either walked out, when you burnt your finger you either thought I will stop cooking, or you started mixing many recipes. Again, disaster. Burning your hand and like not trying one more, disaster. But then you thought this is a fast food cooking. This is not 2-minute noodles. It's a complicated recipe. We all have to understand it is not a simple recipe. It's not. It's a very complicated process. You have to follow step by step. You cannot fry the onions before the oil. Oil goes first, then goes the onion. If you do not do your basic studies and you start like trying to do your current affairs, doesn't work like that. You will not understand anything with economic newspaper on the page 12 if you do not understand what NCERT 6th standard textbook says. You understood? So the recipe has steps in it. You have to follow that step. Okay, I think I've lost you guys. One is, I said there's no secret recipe. Then I told you that there is a recipe. Okay, second point. Third one is, not everybody is daring enough to get into the kitchen. Congratulations, you have at least got into the kitchen. Okay, now you have to start cooking it. Please do not get 3 or 4 recipes and start mixing everything. Okay, then I went ahead to try to tell you that recipes will always have steps. There are ingredients. You do not skip an ingredient. You do not skip a step in the preparation. You do not jump to the conclusion of the last step of garnishing. You understood what I'm trying to say? The whole point is cooking. Next point trying to tell you now is, this recipe is a complicated recipe. It's a huge cooking which is going to happen. It is not 2-minute noodles. Now, if you want to give an example for you, 2-minute noodles would be you preparing for your CAT exam. You have to continuously prepare for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 months, a typical set of questions. You practice more and you go perform. Okay, if you want to compare this cooking with the exams, 2-minute noodles would be your CAT exams and other exams, the smaller exams which you get. This is a marathon. It starts with prelims exam, then it goes to your mains, then it goes to your interview, and before the results come, the next prelims is almost about to start with the exam procedure has already started. So one thing you have to remember, it is a huge cooking which takes on for hours and hours together. You understood? So if you're thinking that I will finish off in half an hour and walk out of this kitchen, you will be doing half of it. You will be serving a raw dish. It is not cooked properly. So what I'm trying to say is, be ready to start cooking for hours together here. No secret recipe, there is a recipe. You have to get into the kitchen. Do not quit in between. It takes a long time. Follow the steps. Do not mix up the steps. And be there, like be till the end. You cannot switch on the, like keep the stove running, go do something else and come back. For example, you cannot start your preparation in September, quit in December, then again pick up in March and try to give your exam in August. In between, the dish is spoiled. You understood? It's either burnt or it's not cooked. You should constantly be standing in the kitchen. You have to dedicate your complete thought process on that dish. You have to be stirring it. You cannot stop stirring it. The stirring is nothing but your daily newspaper. You cannot skip one stir. You understood? That dish doesn't come well. Keep stirring it. Every day, one step, you keep doing it. Now again, bringing back the kitchen thing. You have to stir with 1 spoon, right? How about taking 3-4 spoons, stirring it together in 2 hands, putting your leg also in between? Would be a disaster, right? 1 newspaper, 1 source. Now what you do is you open all the internet, you open all the sources available. That is nothing but putting 3 or 4 spoons to stir, in between maybe your leg also. Disaster. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, when you start preparing, when you stir with 1 spoon regularly. Everyday newspaper. You cannot go to sleep without finishing a newspaper. You got the idea? This one. Okay. Next, where does the coaching classes come in this picture? Because you may think that the recipe is there. Okay. Any big kitchen, when the big cook is going on, if you have seen the big kitchens, master chef or something, you will see there is a chef who cooks and there is a master who conducts the cooking. Okay, he will be telling you that make it faster. You have not done this step. You got what I'm trying to say? The master's role is not to come and cook with you, because it is your dish. You have to cook it. What the master can come and tell you is what's happening. You have skipped this step. You are not stirring. You are not interested. What's wrong with you? Do this. So there would be a master who would constantly tell you what you're supposed to be doing with your recipe. The recipe is there. The master's role is to make sure that you're doing the steps rightly. You're doing it. You're not leaving the kitchen. You got the idea? That's where the master's role comes. The guide comes. The mentor comes. Everybody would start in the beginning. But the problem is continuing with that. That's the problem starts somewhere in February, March. That's where it's like, nahi, mere se nahi ho payega. That's where the mentor starts coming into picture. You got the idea? Next. The dish is almost cooked. Now it is presenting. Okay, it's there in the bowl. On the day of exam, you cannot take the whole thing and put it like that on the plate. It's going to spill. You have to garnish it, right? You have to take it in a spoon, present it well. Again, that's where the mentor starts coming into picture, who will tell that, okay, soup should be served in a bowl, not in a banana leaf. Okay. Now, how would examiner is nothing but the person who eats the dish what you have prepared. You make soup or you make and you serve it in banana leaf. The examiner is going to get up and walk away. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is presentation of your dish. That's where the mentor will tell you, okay, this is how you have to present. That's where your practice paper comes into picture. You practice serving. You practicing that, or you practice that, what do you call that? Kothambari soppu. You put that on the top. Okay, some people write brilliant answers, beautiful answers with flowery words. Content erala. That's like taking only Kothambari soppu and serving guest. You understand what I'm trying to say? So there is a level of garnishing. You cannot garnish more. You cannot garnish less. Again, you are supposed to serve a thali, right? Where there should be good content of rice, rasam and everything. You cannot give a lot of one. You cannot give goju so much without rice, right? So this is again how you present your answers. There should be solid content called rice. Other mele a little bit of rasam to give your positive and negative, that would be a goju. And little bit in the end conclusion would be your gulab jamun. Now you cannot only give gulab jamuns. You understood what I'm trying to say. That's why mentor comes to tell you that a thali should have this, and you practice serving it. You got the idea? This is how the procedure starts, and this is how the whole civil service, if I can give you an example of a cooking recipe and a dish, this is what you are getting ready for. You will have the recipe, you have to get into the kitchen and you have to start. Okay? To wind up the points, there is no secret recipe, but there is a recipe. Okay? You have to get into the kitchen, you cannot, and you start preparing, you follow the steps as it is. You do not skip an ingredient, you do not skip a step, you do not mix up the steps, you follow only one recipe, you have to constantly stir it. It is a mega cooking which takes place for a long time, it's not 2 minutes noodles. Mentor comes into picture to make you motivated and to make you do what you're supposed to do. And when it comes to serving, it is practice, it's about garnishing. That's how you have to present your dish to the examiner. Okay? And this is what your preparation will be for next 2 years. When I say 2 years, the reason is preparation will almost take a year. The exam itself is 1 year. And when the results come, you will be still preparing. Okay? Now that I've told you what the preparation is, I think you would have got a basic idea about that. And if any doubt, we will come back to that later. Okay? I have finished in 20 minutes. I'll speak for another 5 minutes. There's another concept which I want you guys to know. After that, I'll open the session for open mic and we'll discuss on that. Another thing what you have to understand is preparing for civil service is a state of mind. Okay? It's a way of living. These two things I'm going to explain you what it is. Okay? When I say state of mind, I've spoken this before also, that you have to understand what civil service is trying to recruit. Okay, so if you actually see why does Infosys come and recruit a mechanical engineer from a campus? Have you thought about that? Why would IT companies recruit a mechanical engineer from a IT college? They would need computer science, right? Why would they come and pick up mechanical student? Anybody? Then they should be going for a creative college to find innovation. Yeah, something like that. Reason is because these are the people who have written those entrance tests and they got into this engineering college. So mean to say they have that aptitude to learn new things. They have that attitude to apply something. That's the reason they recruit. Now, why am I telling you this is, you have to think from the angle of UPSC. What does government need? Who do they need exactly? Okay. If you see the syllabus and the way the exam pattern goes on, there is only general studies. It doesn't ask you to be a topper in any exams. It just needs basic graduation level pass marks, right? So mean to say they're not looking for somebody who is an expert in a particular subject. Then you see general studies papers, so it means they want somebody who is well versed with the general ideas about what is going on. So what I have said is that UPSC trying to get common people into civil service. Okay? When I say common people means a common man. So who is a common man? A common man is a person who has a very common knowledge, who has common sense and who thinks rationally. Okay. So when I say common knowledge, it's exactly your syllabus. Okay, that anyway you will learn it. Okay. When I say common sense and rationality, it is your ability to think and take a decision. Okay. Most of the time you take decision without a prior thought process going on. You might think that you have thought well and you have taken a decision, but it's not exactly how it works. You understood? So what I'm trying to say here is that preparing for civil service is a state of mind. Hi. So when I say state of mind, it's like during your preparation you have to change the way you think. You cannot have the complete rightist idea. You cannot have complete leftist idea. You cannot be one of those people you were before. You would see in Facebook that one small comment, there are 100 people pouncing upon, like arguing for the sake of arguing. Okay, you will see people like, after, like you good, and this the men would understand here. After, like, the two pegs of brandy, discussion is invariably on politics. Invariably it is a fight, and nobody is rationally thinking on facts. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you cannot be those people when you're preparing for civil service. Your state of mind should change. You should be like the way an officer behaves. You should start feeling that you're an officer already before preparing. That's when you prepare, you will have that orientation. You understood? So what I'm trying to say here is you should have a state of mind which is conducive for civil service. The way of thinking and your way of living should be like an officer, and that idea what you have will help you prepare for this exam and help you clear. I think I have made my point clear that preparing for civil service is a state of mind and it is a way of living. You get up in the morning, you finish off your newspaper, and you be ready to take a lot of inputs from different sources, and your ability to keep thinking on that, pondering on that, trying to find solution to the problems which our country is having, and being very patriotic and having a clear-cut idea that why you're getting into the service. It's only to serve this nation. There's no other ulterior motive. If it is money, go into business. If you want or to say name and fame, get into social service or get into politics. You're getting into this service, you're planning to get into the service is only to serve this nation. There is no other thing. There is no hidden agenda, there is no money making concept. It doesn't happen. If somebody is giving you an idea that you can make a lot of money here, no, you cannot. 1.5 year vigilance and you're out. You cannot do whatever you're thinking of doing. The only reason you're getting into civil service is to serve the nation. This state of mind, this idea will help you clear this exam, nothing else. So I told you the recipe concept about preparing the exam, and another idea what I'm trying to give is preparing is kind of a state of mind, and it's a way of living which you should adapt, so that like your preparation is not just a tedious, irritating process, but you'll start loving your preparation. Okay, so I've used my 20 minutes. I think I'll take some questions now, or should I? Yeah. I can take the questions.
Can you share your success journey?
While I take the questions, I can give my examples and answer the questions. That I could do. Yeah. Yes. I think you'll. Okay, you have the mic.
One thing I have been getting pretty iteratively here, that it's a common man's exam, and you don't have to be an expert or topper to clear it. But let's say you are a topper, and everyone around you expects you to clear it. Everyone around you expects you to be a successful one. How do you handle that pressure? I mean, everyone around you is like, okay, you're going to clear it. You're going to clear it. That in a way is good, that they are making you aware of the fact that you are under pressure and you have to work hard. But then sometimes you feel that, okay, what if I fail? And That sort of pressure, you got it.
Yeah,
right?
I got the question. To sum up the question is like, if you're on topper already, then there's a lot of pressure from your family and others to perform, and how do you manage it? Sorry sir, that's the problem. Like, it's very easy to reach on the top, it's difficult to stay there. It's very easy to reach the top, but difficult to stay there. And in fact, if I'm not wrong, I think it's Rajnikant who would have said this. I remember him in one of his thing that it's very easy to go on the top, it's difficult to stay there. I remember one of his speeches where he has told this, where it comes down and again you go up, it comes down and go up. Yes, I do agree sir that it's a problem that you'll have a constant pressure. But then it's an advantageous too, that there is a rocket will take up if there's a fire behind, and you can see this pressure as a fire, and which will now force you to achieve. You have to achieve now. That is one. And if you're not a topper also, the advantage is that nobody is bothering you. Then one day your name comes in the list and they'll be, oh my god, this guy. And then you'll be like, tada, it's a magic, and you open and the bird flies, something like that. And that it's both, it's two sides of the same coin. If you are already successful, you will have a pressure to succeed, and if you are not a successful candidate till now in your life, then at least idadru success tagon band you can show something. So even they will have that pleasure, the pressure to at least this exam is one thing which I can. So the pressure is there for both, sir. That's what I could answer. It's pressure is there for both, and it's how you make this pressure into your advantage. Any other question? I'll take a question for another 5 minutes, and then I'll give the dice for the next. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm also from a... So how did you handle that, sir?
Okay. How many of you are engineers here? Sit, ma'am. Sit. Engineers here. Okay. How many of you are doctors here? Few of them. Commerce? Okay. And then arts? Okay. Now if I wind up like, is there any other subject which are not cleared? Which, sir? Oh yeah, it's engineering and science I meant. Engineering and science. Okay. How many of you are from gender studies? Nobody, right? You're from gender studies? I'll come to that. There's somebody is preparing for his interview there. You never say no. You come with some answer. Anybody from sociology here? I mean, graduation in sociology? No. Anybody graduation from governance, administration, the public administration or something? No, right? Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is, this exam syllabus, nobody is done graduation in the syllabus itself. If you are from medical, somebody is from engineering, somebody is from commerce. For a commerce student, like writing about history is crazy. For a history student, writing any answers on commerce is madness. You understood? So you being from engineering or medical or any graduation background doesn't give you an advantage for a particular subject, nor does it give you a disadvantageous situation. Everybody's in this preparation comes from the same level. Now, building on your question, if you I'm from a medical background, okay, but then when you start studying, I said exactly like how Sharad would have studied, how Binay would have studied. There's no difference in our preparation. It goes on in the same way. Okay. Now, building on that, if you really want to quiz me on this, your question should have been, why do we see lot of students from IIT, IAMs get into service? If you see the list, why do you see them more? If that was a question, it would be difficult. Now, taking that as a question, the answer is those people are ready to follow that recipe and they're ready to do that hard work. Okay, that is the reason why they're in IIT in the first place, because they put the same level of effort for the entrance test and then they're studied there. So they're already used to following the recipe. They're already used to studying for that hour. Their aptitude and the attitude to achieve is already there. But then again, they also start from history. They also start the same syllabus and the same dish. So only difference is that IIT guys also have already, they know how to be in the kitchen. They know how to stay there. That's all. But the recipe and the hard work and whatever the preparation should be done is same for anybody who clears. You got the idea? Any other question? I'll take that and come back. Yes, ma'am. No, it usually comes off like this. See, when you, this is a common problem, and even for the parents staying here, they think that exam is IAS exam. Sit down, ma'am, sit down, I got your question. The exam is IAS question. No, the exam is civil service. Okay. Now, what is civil service? That is the first place. What are you trying to get into? There are different levels in levels in civil service. Here we are speaking about the Group A service, which we are preparing for the UPSC. Now, all are administrative positions. Okay. Now, this is what I have come up with an analogy which will make you understand. Now, let us take all the professions in this world. Let's say doctor, a cobbler, a carpenter, an engineer, or a manual scavenger, any work, okay, including civil service. Now you write it down in a sheet of paper, small slips, then you take a tree, try to paste these names of these professions what you have on the tree, okay. Invariably, if you can understand what I'm trying to say, that engineer, doctors, carpenters, whoever, whatever professions you have, you will be pasting it on the leaves. They do not form the stem, right? They do not form the trunk of the tree. It's all the leaves all around. IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS, all these services, invariably you cannot paste it on the leaves. It will be the trunk. Okay? Now, where can you place IRS? IRS is the root, which sucks the water and nourishes the tree. It sucks the money from the economy and then gives it to the tree back again so that the tree grows. Okay? Where does IAS come? It's a stem. Where does IPS come? It's the bark which covers and protects the stem. Okay? Where do you think IFS come? It's that seed which is planted somewhere else and it is growing there. IFS is one which takes care of the tree outside the country. And where does the defense come? It's the fence which protects the tree. Okay? Now you are giving this exam to be either the stem or the bark or the roots or the fence. Fence will be the defense, that will be the defense services, or the seed. Now this comes into individual preference. Do you want to be the bark, or do you want to be the root, or do you want to be the seed? Individual preferences, but all of them are far better than the leaves. You got the idea? Where the whole country stands because of this civil service. I think I have cleared your idea. That will give you, whichever you are oriented to, your options would be of that kind. But that doesn't mean that if you wanted to be the root and you get the stem, obviously you'll choose the stem because right now you're a leaf. You got the idea? So everything is same. It's individual attitude which will make you choose between these. But end of the day, we all want to not to be the leaf, but we want to be the rest of the structure. Okay? I think you have a question. Quickly, I'll take a few questions.
You are a doctor.
Yeah.
And why did you choose into civil service? And what was the inspiration?
It's as simple as that. I did not want to be the leaf. A doctor is as equal to a carpenter. What makes you think a carpenter is... this question wouldn't have come to me if I said I'm a carpenter. Then this question wouldn't have come like, why you're a carpenter, why did you choose civil service?
No, what was the motivation?
The motivation is only so much, sir. Like, I do not want to be the leaf. You want to be the trunk, the root, the bark, the main part of the tree.
Yeah.
Your influence is way more higher than how many patients can I treat per day? Maximum 100, per month 3,000. Per year, if I do not take any off, it's more than 3.5 lakh.
Yeah.
And here, like, each decisions you take, it's crores of people who are getting affected.
And what was the inspiration during your preparation and ups and downs? I mean, like basics and...
You just want it.
Want it.
You just want it, Aste. There is no inspiration and all. Like, now let us say that you're behind a girl. Okay? That's an easy example, what you can understand. You want her. Now you cannot tell that Upendra is my inspiration. Right? Now if you say like, you cannot say that. Because you just want her. Because you love her. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, okay,
There's no inspiration, you want that. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Quickly another question.
How has life changed for you after joining the elite services?
No, it's first of all the question should be clarified. It's not an elite service. If somebody is
Joining the Indian Revenue Service.
okay, I'll clarify on that. It's not an elite service. Okay, if you're thinking that the moment you clear exam that you have taken a different platform, disaster. This arrogance of success will push you down so bad that nobody will bother you. You will be behind your files and doing your work. Maybe you will have your car and your bungalow, that's all. But again, it's exactly, if I can continue with the same example, she said yes to you. Now you start beating her up and like, you understand, like you cannot do that. You should still continue to love her, right? The being in the service is exactly that love. Now I will start expressing that love to her. You understood? So you continue to be the same person. You continue to have the same energy because your purpose, your aim was not to clear the exam, that's all. Your aim was to serve the nation. And nothing has changed. It's like you just clear the exam, now your journey of service changes. Yes, now the scope for you has increased. That different. Now the responsibility is more, like you have to do something. Take it away from your mind that you're trying to get into an elite service. It's not an elite service, it shouldn't be an elite service. In fact, the word elite and service shouldn't go together. It is service. Like it's not a profession, it's not a position, it's service, and you're serving the public. The public is the king here, you're a servant. It's not an elite service. Take it out from your mind that the moment you get into the service you will be an officer who is above everybody. No, you should be grounded and your life shouldn't change. And if at all, if I'm speaking to you, if you see some change, please let me know. And please be free anytime to message me or call me and say, sir, you made it serilla. Like what you said is wrong, don't do it. And I will be the happiest person to take it from you, and I will respect your ideas and I will take it. So do not take it as an elite service. Thank you.
Hello sir, how did you manage your studies while working?
Yeah, there's a good question. See, when I was working, like I was in Cook, so what happens usually is you just need 2 to 3 hours per day. Sit down, sir, sit down. You just need 2 to 3 hours per day, and you being in working position, at least 2 to 3 hours per day you will pull it, and on the weekends you will get that 5 to 6 hours. Okay. Now that's where Keshav sir came into my help, where he used to send me a lot of question papers and things to do. Okay, so his method of teaching was he gives me things to do. Then you would definitely get a call around say 10 o'clock in the night saying that did you complete that whatever work your task he has given, like read this topic and do this notes or something like that. You could have only 2 answers. Yes sir, I've done it. No sir, I've not done it. Let me say I said yes sir, I've done it. So you would say that please send it by mail. Scan it and send it by mail. Okay. Now if I say no, his next question will be why. So either way I have to do it. Okay, that is how my preparation was forced by KAS sir, that you have to do it and send it. So for all these things you need 2 to 3 hours per day, and I think any job would give you this time. Even if it doesn't give this time, then there are other things which you have to sacrifice. Okay, there might be something which you are presently doing, or maybe some TV series you have hooked up. you have to stop the TV series and in fact get into some of the books. There are sacrifices. You have to do it. But then if you say working would be a disadvantage, I wouldn't buy that. Working will not be a disadvantage. You can pull 2 to 3 hours in a day to prepare on this. Okay. I think
While choosing this platform, what was your basic concept? What was the main in your mind that what you have to do? While choosing this platform, you would be chosen in different something.
platform, Himalaya platform to...
No, like IAS or something, what
I would be if not for this, I would have doctor.
No, main and basic concept, what was in your mind? For what you choose this?
Oh, I'll give you time, ma'am. Try to rephrase the question again. No, rephrase the question again, ma'am. Okay, mic wapas kodi. We will rephrase it. No. Go on with the question. No, you should be bold enough. You should be bold enough to rephrase your question. I'll help you out. Maybe I am not getting it. My problem. Go on. I did not get. You are asking me what was my
Main concept to choose this, sir.
main concept to
Intention, what it was.
intention. I told you the civil service. Okay. Again, intention for everybody should be the same thing. There is no hidden reason to choose this, or there's an explicit reason. The reason is very simple. You have to. I wanted to get into social service. It's as simple as that. Okay, and civil service gives you the broadest scope to do service. For example, I could say this: government is the biggest NGO in this country. Think about it. It's the biggest social service organization. So civil service is a platform for that, and you will be a member of that big organization which is into social service. Okay. Now if I let me say if I join Mother Teresa's organization, I would be treating leprosy patients. I'm working for them. Okay. If I join say some other NGO, I'll be working for a particular ecology or for RTA activist or something. This is a specified one, and civil service gives you the widest platform for this, right? Okay, we'll come back to the question because even Sharath will be also speaking. We'll come back to the questions again once all the speakers have their dais, and later we will still discuss if there is any question. We'll come back to your questions after the...
Hello. So there are
after this.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah. So there are another 2 more rounds to go. So they'll be sharing their success journey, and there is a group discussion, there's a question hour. So there's a lot of few more rounds to go. So don't worry, every questions will be taken care, and every dreams of yours can be addressed much more here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.